Scotland has coasts on three sides: the North Sea, the Atlantic Ocean and the Irish Sea. It is part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. There are a lot of mountains in Scotland and almost 800 islands. On the west coast of Scotland lies Kelburn Castle. The Boyle family has lived here for 800 years. They came from Normandy with William the Conqueror in 1066. A few years ago, the family asked graffiti artists from Brazil to paint the castle. The idea came from David Boyle, the son of the 10th Earl of Glasgow. He likes to wear the traditional kilt. Although the castle now looks very unusual, the graffiti facade has an advantage.
To maintain and look after a place like this is a huge amount of money and a huge kind of responsibility. And so when we knew that the work on the castle needs to be done, we realised that we had a big canvas, and we decided that we would turn it into a big artwork. And at that time, as you say, people have a perception of what, a castle being traditional and a certain set of values, about. So we decided to go with sort of Brazilian street art and call it the Graffiti Project, because it was about challenging people's perception of both castles and the aristocracy, as well as the idea of what graffiti art was as well. So that was the idea behind the and also we just really wanted to do it. It was just fun, so looking good though.
To pay for the upkeep of the castle, the family has opened the grounds to the public. At certain times, the buildings are open to visitors as well. David and his father organise weddings, concerts and sporting events.
Good.
At first, David's father didn't like the graffiti idea, but in the end he went along with the project, against the advice of a specialist.
Ricky DeMarco is the sort of the guru of Edinburgh and art, and we asked him. He's quite a friend of ours, and he came over here, and he was very against the whole idea. But when he actually saw it, he then said that he thought that all Scottish castles should be done like this and make them more interesting and more exciting.
North of Kelburn Castle are the Scottish Highlands. The mountains are up to 3,000 feet high. Near Killiecrankie, the Scots act out a part of their history every year. Scotland and England were rivals for many centuries. In 1603, the English had no successor for their throne, so the Scottish King James became King of Scotland and England. 85 years later, the English Parliament replaced the Catholic King James II with the Protestant William of Orange. The Scottish Parliament also voted in William's favour. Many Scots, however, disagreed, in particular the Catholic Highlanders. They rebelled against this decision and fought a battle against the Scottish Lowlanders, who were part of the government troops.
Yeah, this is what happened here. I'm sure you guys know none of this.
Storyteller Jess Smith describes this battle.
Left. Bonnie Dundee gave the order to advance, and the Highland troops, casting off their plaids, charging down the hill in the shirt sleeves or naked, advanced towards the government troops.
1,200 Highland rebels fought against 4,000 government troops. The Highlanders won the battle.
So you can imagine, the battle lasted 15 minutes and nearly 2,000 government troops were killed in that battle. General Hugh Mackay, who had started the morning with 4,000 men, at the end of the day, he arrived back at Stirling with 400. So I think it was, in terms of a victory, a battle victory, it was an incredibly powerful day. for the Highlanders.
A few months later, however, the Highlanders' rebellion was quashed. In 1707, the kingdoms of Scotland and England were united and both parliaments merged. Scotland not only has a lot of mountains, it also has almost 800 islands. The island of Eigg is situated off the west coast of Scotland. About 100 people live here today. Some time ago, life on the island was dying out, until the remaining inhabitants took the island affairs into their own hands. Maggie Fife is the spiritual mother of this action. Successive owners of the island had cared very little about the people who lived on their property. It was a hard time for them. They asked for improvements such as a landing pier for the ferry. With the last but one owner, the clash of interests turned into an open conflict.
He made it difficult for us all. If you were working for him, you were living in a house that belonged to him. So it's what's known here as a tied cottage. It went with the job. So if you didn't enjoy your job anymore, which a lot of people didn't because he was constantly interfering, wanted to leave the job, but then they'd find themselves without a house.
When the landowner changed yet again, the islanders had enough. They collected donations and bought the island. This was in 1997.
Anybody with enough money can buy an estate, an island, whatever, without any qualifications whatsoever. And, we were being told by owners, but you're not qualified to run an island. Well, I think the people who live here every day, winter and summer, know a damn sight more about what happens here, what's possible, what's not possible.
Above the supermarket is the office of the Isle of Eigg Heritage Trust.
You can indeed.
Here Maggie sells prepaid electricity cards.
I'll have 10 and can I have 10 for you?
Eigg has produced its own electricity since 2008.
10.50.
Before, people had to put up generators outside their homes because there was no power line from the mainland.
£21, that's lovely.
Lovely, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Today they use wind energy. John Booth directs the island's power company. The islanders are not dependent on the big British power companies, but they do have to take care of their facilities themselves. Parts of the wind turbines have to be replaced often. The salty air damages the material. It is a lot of work, but there was no alternative.
It became apparent that we would not get a cable laid to the island to bring us mainland electricity simply because it was too expensive. So we decided in discussions within the community that we would go ahead and seek to have our own scheme. And the scheme that we have here, consisting of hydroelectric power, wind power and solar electricity.
It proves that the islanders run their island well. "20 miles south of Eigg is the island of Mull. In the southwest lies the Ada Lanish farm. Farmer Anne Smith allows her animals to roam free. She often has to go looking for them. They have a huge area to roam in. They are a very robust breed, Highland cattle.
We have tried keeping them inside, the young ones, but it doesn't work. They get disease because they're so close to each other. They like to be outside. They like to roam free.
But the most important animals in Scotland are the sheep. They are the main source of income for Anne's farm. Their wool is processed right on the farm. The looms are almost 100 years old and go back to the time when the Scottish textile industry was big. The weaver Katrina Crosby likes the old machines.
There is something very beautiful about the way the grease and the oil with the hard machines can make such beautifully soft and clean fabrics that are so white and pristine and luxurious, that comes out of such old machines and with so much dirt around them.
Hi, Katrina. Hi, I was going to show you the web.
Katrina also produces fabric for kilts. Kilts are worn by men on formal occasions. The family clans have their own patterns.
And then we've got the rowan and the woad and the silver blend.
In Scotland, there is a lot of water. Depending on the area, it rains on up to 250 days per year. The winters are rough, the summers are cool. It is difficult to cultivate vegetables and fruits. So in olden times, the Scottish had to find something else to fill their stomachs. Jeanette Cutlack carries on a Scottish tradition, haggis. This typically Scottish dish consists mainly of leftovers from the slaughter, mixed with oats.
There's a lot of mystery surrounding haggis. People have an idea that they're eating. The number one question I get asked is, is it made from a sheep's stomach? And it's not. Originally it would have been encased in a sheep's stomach. You get as much as you
Jeanette
can
puts
in
the
one
mix
hand.
into artificial sausage skin.
Try and push it down.
According to the traditional recipe, she uses sheep's lungs, hearts and livers. Jeanette is one of the few people who still make haggis by hand. Presented on crackers with jam, the rather unattractive food gets a makeover.
Well, the thing was that...
On the east coast of Scotland lies the capital, Edinburgh. In 1990, the Scottish formed their own parliament once again. Edinburgh is the home of a world-famous festival. The Edinburgh International Festival features both amateur and professional performers. Evelyn Glennie is one of the world's leading percussionists. When she was 12, she lost almost all of her capacity to hear. She feels music with her body.
I like music, and that is something that goes beyond the hearing. And music really seeps through your whole body. And when you can open your body up like a resonating chamber, almost like a huge ear in a way, it's quite an experience.
That's good. If I come round.
Yes.
Evelyn has no problem communicating. She can lip read. In Edinburgh, she's preparing an unusual project, together with Russian artist Maria Rud.
The idea is to bring together music and art, which are united and have been separated for a very long time. And sound has color, and color has sound. And in order for people to see it, it can only be done in real time, because looking at a painting and hearing a music does not achieve this effect.
The result is the Animotion Show, a fusion of visual art and music.